Good evening then, ladies and gentlemen across the world. Welcome aboard to WOR. This is Tier 2. Welcome to Spain, as we are just enjoying what I think is going to be a very, very interesting event ahead of us. 6 minutes left in qualifying. Apologies, technical issues related to the update, would you believe, heading on into this event. However, we do have 20 drivers all very much ready and raring to go. As is my co-commentator tonight. It is Jotto alongside Callum G, your usual commentating pairing here in Tier 2 for WOR. We are in Spain. Welcome to Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. And so far, Levi showing how it's all done.
Yeah, good evening everyone. It's good to be here tonight, here at Spain, as you rightfully mentioned, Jota. It's going to be a good one tonight. A little bit of a different track, normally known as your test track, and doesn't normally give the best race in real life. However, here tonight, it's Lee Grayson, it's Tier 2, and definitely it should be a cracker. Yeah,
I'm hoping it's going to be an absolute cracker. And again, once again, apologies for the slight delay to the start in this stream. The unfortunate issue of bringing out a patch midway through the day when you work full time means that you don't tend to get the updates at the most convenient of opportunities, but we are live now, and nonetheless a very interesting qualifying ahead of us. None other than the reserve driver Jam Pancakes was leading the way before we just got going in the stream tonight, but Levi has come across the line with that 16.4. Now it is going to be one of those interesting positions now for a lot of these drivers here, because we do have a little bit of a mix-up, of course, with Jam Pancakes reserve driver coming in for Tier 2 tonight, but Levi immediately coming out of the blocks with that 16.4 with 4 and a bit minutes left in this session shows immediately that the Ferrari has got the leading edge, you'd have to say. And Venom, obviously, in third place with Stonks in fourth. The championship leader was on the back of what was going to be a very poor race. In the end, turned out not to be such a bad race last week. He is in fourth, looking to try and close down the gap on Venom as he now just heads around the final corner as he's hoping to set the initial lap time and improvement if he can. And what an improvement indeed it is. Pole position so far for the championship leader in the Aston Martin.
Yep, good stuff there from Stonks, and as you mentioned, it was a good week last week in the end at Monza, leading the championship by a pretty impressive 27 points now over Adam Dude. It's the first time we've really seen some dominance in this championship established, and it is coming in the way of FRA Stonks. Adam Dude P2 in the standings at the moment, and just behind him as well, PSR Levi, which I think is an interesting one down in P3. I think, without any disrespect to the other drivers, I actually think Levi's the fastest man on this grid. However, missing a race so far, 2 DNFs to his name, and only 2 podium finishes, which are both race wins, is slightly hampering him so far. So 72 points to the name of Levi, and he's 33 points off the championship at the moment. However, the pace is looking good for him here tonight. 16.4 to his name, and with just above 3 minutes left in the session, it's certainly all to play for in the name of pole position.
105 points as it stands so far for Stonks, as we're just watching Carsey come across the line. He was a 10th up in the second sector, as he will look to improve, and he's actually 3/10 up overall by the looks of things, managing to put himself onto the second row in front of the pre-pole position man Jam Pancakes, and only 100th of a second slower than the fastest man of the moment according to Callum Levi. But Stonks leading the way so far with that 16.4 as everyone now entering into the pit lane. Carsey, I think, is at risk of potentially not getting any more laps out here, but the second place man at the moment, Adam Dude, 27 points behind on 78 points so far in this season. He sets off on an early out lap. He wants to get going with this.
Yeah, he definitely does. Allows him to get time for a second on as well. I think that's kind of the point of going out early. It gives you a bit of reassurance to try and get a good second lap. And just looking at the rear of the field, seeing if there's any surprises, but it's all pretty much normal so far. A Chelsea fan not on a good second time out as well. It was a rough debut for him last week. Just looking at ASV Bob watching P11, the man sitting P5 in the standings. He'll be looking to try and get himself in that top 10. However, Bob Watch isn't really known for his good qualifying, but it'll be interesting to see if he can get himself up there. And Rev Caterpillar, the man everyone loves, he's got his maths on what to do tonight. Currently in P9, he's set himself up hopefully for a good final run as well.
Yeah, I mean, FRA Stonks obviously coming on the back of a win at the Italian Grand Prix last week. At one point, didn't really look like he was going to be anywhere near the podium, but let's be candid, it was a catastrophic error from VSR Akos, down in 10th at the moment. He should have won that Grand Prix, but a late safety car, he made the call to come into the pits and go onto a set of soft tyres. Well, a lot of the grid decided to stay out on that set of mediums, and he wasn't able to make as much inroad as he thought he could do. As a result of that, ended up finishing well down the field, did the Mercedes, only taking 4 points in the end for the 8th place finish that gets you he was very, very disappointed in the end. You'd have to say, based especially on his tweet straight after that race, he knew that the race was in the bag for him, but that's a mistake in strategy saw him fall all the way down the order. So it is all about what Stonks could do on the back of that race victory. That's his second victory as well of this season. His first win coming at Miami during the round 3 of this championship. There's a bunch of other drivers just on their laps at the moment, as we've got Shazoo Venom just starting on his lap. In the first sector though, Adam Dude down by 11 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, Adam Dude looking to try and get a good lap out the bag here, and I was just looking at the standings there. Adam Dude quite remarkably second in the standings, and without any disrespect, I don't really know how he's still there. He's not really been on the best run of form. He's never won a race this season, he's only been in the podium twice, so it's been a pretty strange season for Adam Dude so far. The pace is definitely there, but I definitely wouldn't class him as a top contender week in, week out. But so far, P6 in this qualifying session, coming around the final chicane now through the final right-hander as well. A good lap time here could definitely propel him into this top 5 and possibly even better. A cross line now for Adam Dude. And it is a top 5 with a 16.626.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more time, though, available in his disposal for sure, but the ERS is now going to be depleted, to say the least. So whether Adam Dude can improve or not is going to be another matter. Here's the championship leader so far as FRA Stonks coming across the line. He's 12 thousandths of a second down, similarly down in the first sector versus Adam Dude at the moment, but he did improve in the end. Did the Adam Dude in the second place man in the championship. We'll keep an eye on Venom though. Venom's looking to try and improve if he can and get out of the bunch of drivers all in the 16.6s, and he cannot. He'll stay in the 16.6s alongside Adam Dude and Typical for that matter himself, only just starting a lap. ET8 Quantum obviously taking over the Velox team, did ET8 a couple of weeks ago. They'll go second place and on the front row with a 16.4, so there is a bit of grip out there in the field at the moment. Chelsea Fan will not improve as he spins out. Oscu down the order in 17th at the moment, a driver that definitely wants to try and improve on his case as Rev Caterpillar goes 6th with a 16.5. Here comes Oscu, only 16.8 for him down in 11th place at the moment. Clunky Monkey down in 12th place at the moment. He is really not going to be improving anytime soon. Typical also 2 seconds down as well. Adam Dude is on a slow lap. Jam Pancakes up in the 11 thousandths of a second in the second sector, so he's looking to try, if he can get into the 16.4s, he'll come across the line and he won't improve after a poor third sector. 16.5 for him. Levi looking to improve, he won't in that one. He's well down the field and over 13 seconds back, and I believe that will be the end of qualifying, and no surprises here that the championship leader has managed to snag pole position, but the fastest man on track, Callum, third place overall.
Yes, indeed it was, but pretty close, wasn't it? Top 4 all in the same 100th of a second, I should say, so yeah, pretty close stuff there. Quantum, good lap from him at the end. He was down in the, I think, P8 before his final run, so he's definitely pulled something out the bag there. But yeah, good lap from Stonks Carsey as well. Good to see him there in P4. I can't say I've seen Carsey race a whole bunch of times in Tier 2, but certainly a great driver. We see him racing in the Legacy division on Friday night, so good to see him here in Tier 2 tonight. Looking forward to see what he can do.
Certainly looking forward to seeing what we have, of course, coming up in this event. Now minus, of course, FRA Kai, who did not set a qualifying lap time in this event. Everybody was within 1 second of pole position, which is just, again, another testament to the clear closeness within the tier. The top 4 separated by less than half a tenth. So Stonks taking pole position with that 16.416, Quantum 16.446, Levi 4.55, and Carty 4.65. So really close margins between those 4. Jam Pancakes in 5th place, Rev Caterpillar down in 6th. He's in the breathing line, if you will, of those at the front. Adam Dude in 7th with Venom in 8th, Typical in 9th, Winter down in 10th. And then your bottom 10 made up of Oscar Piccolo, Conky Monkey, with Chasta, Akos Bobberts, and then Cesar Almond. And then, of course, Chelsea Fan alongside the man who didn't set a lap time in FRA Kai. So we'll now head through, of course, into the race. And early indications immediately suggesting that this is going to be a very, very, very close race indeed. If everyone is going to be as close as qualifying suggested. And it is, of course, the conditions are nice and bright out there as well, which is going to make for some very interesting racing. It gives the opportunity to very briefly talk, of course, about strategy. And I think strategy immediately coming out the blocks here. Medium, hard, hard, medium. It's going to be hard, medium, surely, for the majority of the drivers around here. This is a high-deck circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard, medium, it's nothing that we are not used to seeing. It's pretty much the strategy everywhere we go. So the drivers are definitely no strangers to the hard medium. I'm not too sure how long the hard will be going tonight, but we will probably see them all going to the same amount of period but keep an eye out for undercuts, overcuts. It's always a pretty interesting points of races because that can be won and lost for a few drivers. But yeah, just looking at the race director at the moment, it is all predominantly hard tyres, a few on mediums at the moment, but I think we're just kind of playing a bit of a dummy there, and I think we'll probably see 20 drivers on the hard tyres.
Certainly looking forward then to seeing what we've got coming up. So there's a bunch of hard tyres now going up on all of the drivers. It gives us an opportunity as well to very briefly talk about those front runners at the moment and where they qualified. The Hungarian hero VSR Rakos this season so far has been a really up and down roller coaster of a season. At one point he's racing for, the top step of the podium, makes a few mistakes. Here he's 15th place, and you have to say, not necessarily his fault. With everyone so close in qualifying, Akos would arguably say that his qualifying lap time would have been a testament to the top 5, but because everyone was within such a close margin, 15th place, a couple of tenths, and he would end up being in the top 5. So he's a little bit unlucky to be that far down, but it's going to make for a very interesting race because this race is not necessarily the hardest place to overtake. Yet it's not so easy. And with the real skill, you'd have to say, VSR Akos, you'd say he's definitely going to be in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a real fan of Akos. I think he's a top driver, and yeah, you're probably right to say he's been unlucky. Just as this season as a whole, it's been pretty unlucky, fourth in the standings, but I don't think that really reflects him as a season, him as his pace, because he's very, very good. I think a great example is World, the Legacy division, a very quick grid, one of the best grids on Xbox, and he's up there. And when he's racing for VSR, he's up there. I think he got a podium a few weeks ago, and I think he done very well last week in Monza. I think it's a top 5 as well. So Akos, a great driver, as you said, a bit further down than he'd have hoped tonight, but definitely we'll be looking forward to see him come through the grid and see what he can try and produce.
Also worth taking a look as well, of course, at the likes of Adam Dude. He's down in 7th. It's going to be a bit of a precarious position for him. Of course, with him being in the middle of the pack going into turn 1, going to be interesting to see how he goes. Alongside, of course, PSR Levi down in 3rd. He'll be trying to race with Quantum and Stonks to take the lead of this race. The drivers are on the grid. We're going to go racing here in Spain. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, and it's 5 lights. It's 5 lights, and they are a go. The drivers, here they are, and around that outside line, FRA Stonks is going to want to try and hold on as much as he can, but Quantum has had one hell of a start. Down that outside line, he immediately takes the lead of this race, and Levi's going to want to put some pressure on the championship leader then going into turn 1, but he's left enough space and has to hold on, and now he's having a challenge from Jam Pancakes in 4th place. He'll have to go around the outside line, but here comes Shazoo Venom down the inside line heading through turn 3, and what a move indeed from the Mercedes leading the way. Yellow flag's waving for a half spinning car, but he's managed to collect it as all the drivers look like they've kept it quite clean.
Yeah, for the most part, the main battle here down in P11. ESV Bowers making a good start, and he's now going for a scrap. He's making a few moves. Up in 11th, he goes to the big lunge here from Clunky Monkey as well. Bit of a clunky move, I do say so myself, but he has found himself just about up into P13 there.
Yeah, I want to keep it nice and tidy if he can, as typical, managing to hold on, but he's down 5 positions in the end. Is the Red Bull driver. Not the best start indeed, as we've got a car spinning out, and we have a little bit of a collision by the looks of things happening between RP1 Winter and FRA Caesar. Down towards the back, it looks like towards turn 80, so there's been a little bit of a typical situation here for Typical, who's also racing with FRA Kai as they get into a little bit of a collision, a little bit of a tiff, going through the left-hander, and they end up colliding, but in the end finishing in 15th and 16th place. Chasta battling again with another Clunky Monkey move there, going around the outside line and holding on very well. It's actually been a really good start so far from the Ferrari, actually. A bit of a tumultuous start, despite only gaining, in fact, he's not even gained a position so far. It's still in the 12th place. But in the end so far, Quantum leading the way for the old Velox team. ETA, we're very happy to hear their man currently leading the way in front of the championship leader from Levi, who at the moment is just biding his time in 3rd, with Venom managing to gain 4 positions from 8th up to 4th.
Yeah, something really interesting I found out is VSR Akos on the soft compounded tyre. You don't normally see that one happen. The only man on the grid that's not on the hards, and it is the soft. He has went very extreme on the way of his strategy. So yeah, keep an eye on this Mercedes, because he'll be really banking on a really good start here. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this race pans out for the Mercedes driver.
I'm going to call it not very well. The soft tyre does not last long round here, and he is obviously dedicating himself to a 2-stop, which is just fundamentally the slowest strategy around here by quite a country mile. So I can't help but feel that this is going to be another strategy blunder here from the Hungarian hero, but he's going to make the move down the inside line anyway, going into the left-hander, and a very, very well taken move indeed to make the move past Clunky Monkey. He's now up to 12th place, and he tries to battle Oscar in the Williams, but those soft tyres are going to be falling off the cliff probably within the next 5 to 6 laps. They are going to be shredding behind the Williams here as they now head through the infamous hairpin, which of course is going to be removed, I am under the impression, by 2026. Thank God for that. And we're going to be in for some really intense racing around that little corner, but for the meantime, Akos does get the fastest lap of the race on these soft tyres. Here he then makes the move on Oscar. He's going to go down the inside line, not putting too much pressure on the ERS. He doesn't have to, as he makes the move going into turn 1. He now promotes himself back up to 11th. He's now going to chase the host of this session, ES3 Bobbers.
Yeah, it's interesting from Akos. He's not really, I might say it's a bit of a strange one on the soft comp and the tyres, but everybody else kind of knows that he's on the softs. They're not putting up too much of a fight, so yeah, it's intriguing to see. It's not something you see very often, the driver going for the soft comp and the tyres. Just looking further up as well at the front, it's looking pretty quiet stuff from the guys at the front. They've got a yellow flag further back, but at the front it's all looking pretty clean inside you so far. A great start from Venom up into P4. He's doing his best to try and stay with the pack. Jam Pancake, so he's slightly struggling just about getting DRS on that lap, but yeah, Jam Pancakes needs to pull up his socks here if he wants to stay within this top 4.
Back on board with the VSC Akos then, of getting closer and closer to the McLaren, who makes a mistake, does Bobberts, going into that left-hander, and I think he's going to have to yield this one because it's going to be very much over and done with, even with the special OKX livery on that McLaren. It is going to be over and done with, as Akos now puts himself into the top 10 and of course a point scoring position, but with those soft tyres falling off the cliff ever so gently, we'll have to say, he is going to end up being in a little bit of trouble. Let's go towards that midfield then. In the end, Jam Pancakes making a mistake coming out the final corner. He ends up getting overtaken by Carson, now relegated to 6th place. Is Jam Pancakes the man of the moment? Jam Pancakes as well, showing his real pace, you'd have to say, in the various leagues representing his team at St. George Esports. Jam Pancakes not having the best of time in the regular league racing at the moment, down to 6th place, and of course a reserve driver for WOR Tier 2, Rev Caterpillar, trying to close down the gap on Adam Dudikan as he's stuck in a little bit of an AlphaTauri sandwich, is the Alpine in 7th, of course. And of course, while this is all happening, Akos is trying to make some inroads here as he tries to get past the Frenchman of Jesu Piccolo.
Yep, interesting to see up front here then. It's a bit of a break off from the top 4. They've managed to get away from the rest of the grid. That mistake from Jam Pancakes probably being the ultimate decision in that one there. So yeah, these top 4, be interesting to see now, will they start battling or are they happy just sitting in single file?
Heading then down towards that left-hander, of course. And again, Akos just holding his time, biding his time. Doesn't want to get too much into of a scrap and burn through these soft tyres too quickly. He's just taking a very quick look at my statistics at the moment. Suggests he's now on 25% wear already on these soft tyres, so they are absolutely by their best now. And it's all going to be about how long he can make these soft tyres last. If he indeed, these tyres are already a quarter of the way gone, he's at serious risk here of these soft tyres potentially becoming a serious problem. He's already had his fastest lap beaten as well by Carsey up in 5th place at the moment. He's flying at the moment on those hard tyres. The soft tyres clearly very much beyond their best.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's maybe a safety car kind of strategy. Obviously, safety cars are so common in league racing these days. I'm wondering if that's maybe the plan. We can wait for a safety car, and then that might play into his hands there. And yeah, other than that, I'm not too sure what I think he's doing there for Marcos. I would imagine maybe that's it. He thought, I'll go for a punt, see if he gets a safety car at the right time. But other than that, this could be a pretty long evening for the Hungarian man.
Hearing a lot of Mercedes engines out there at the moment as we keep going on board with a bunch of teams that have, of course, carrying that Mercedes engine. We've got the likes of Akos, we're keeping an eye out on him. He's battling, of course, with the likes of Piccolo, and expecting an overtake should be imminent, actually, in that little battle for P9 at the moment. That probably happened going into turn 1, as Oscar and Clunky Monkey, and it's a little bit of a battle for P12 as it stands at the moment. But so far, Quantum, what a start around that outside line, making the move and getting the better start over the championship leader. You'll be very happy to hear that he's still leading this Grand Prix at the moment on lap 6 of 33 as they come across the start-finishing line. Levi at the moment, though, is the driver, as you said earlier on in qualifying, to be fair. Carl, he said he's going to be a driver we're going to be watching. He's arguably the faster driver around here at the moment, and he is slowly but surely putting a little bit of pressure on Stonks but down the straight he's losing a bucket of time, and it's a detriment maybe to the amount of ERS he's got at the moment. It's about 35%, as we've got a driver half spinning, I believe, managing to recapture it and keeps it in line. He's struggling on the straights, but he's gaining in the corners, so obviously a higher downforce setup at the moment on Levi's car. But Venom is, again, just slowly but surely making those inroads and putting pressure on him. RP1 Winter, by the way, down in 20th place. 10-second penalty for cutting the corner, and another 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And there's the DNF, as it's been a pretty poor race, to say the least, unfortunately, for RP1 Winter. Retires only 6 laps into this 33-lap race. Very early to make that call.
Yeah, it certainly is, considering the way safety cars plan out in this game. So, yeah, a bit of a strange one to see. I was just looking at the standings there, and I was pretty shocked to see that VLX Quantum has not had a podium this season yet. His best finished in 5th place, and that was on 2 different occasions. Other than that, he's only finished one other time. He's finished 3 races in the points this season, which I thought was a bit random to see from such a quick driver. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he's like tonight, how he can deal with this pressure, because it's not normally a place we see Quantum. As much as he's a very quick driver, he has quite a lot of off days, but so far it's definitely looking like a good day for them for him.
Hard tyres are clearly the fastest cut tyre out there at the moment. Those soft tyres absolutely falling off the cliff at the moment. 38% now on my dash at the moment, suggesting that Akos is in a real world of hurt at the moment. Up to 10th place, but surely is going to be pitting by around about lap 10 to get off of these soft tyres as quickly as we possibly can. As we've got Pedro Guedes in the chat actually saying he's probably going to be going on to 12-13 laps with these soft tyres to go for a set of hards, which is a bad idea, and I think absolutely is the correct, interpretation of that set of events. But at the moment, we have a DRS train falling for a first all the way down to 12th place at the moment. Of course, right in the middle of that, Akos trying to battle for 9th place at the moment, but he is losing time to Piccolo in and around the track at the moment, and the only way I think he's going to be able to make some inroads here is to actually consider dive bombs. Is he, or has he got the grip on those soft tyres though? I have to say, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it's interesting at the moment. A lot of people in the DRS trains, as you mentioned, virtually 1st to 12th, and for all these drivers, a big mistake there from a McLaren. I'm not too sure that was ESC Bobbers. He spun round, unfortunately, and I think there was a bit of contact as well. Was it from Conky Monkey? Yeah, as he dives into the pit lane, he's unfortunately been caught up in that as well there. But yeah, commentators, Custer is on board with both of them. ESV Bobbert's huge mistake there, and virtually his race ruined in a matter of moments.
Well, this is all happening, by the way. Akos has just left the DRS territory now of Piccolo, so those soft tyres are dead, to put it bluntly. Akos managed to regain a little bit of time, maybe through the corners, of course, not stuck in the dirty air, which is still a thing. Even with this generation of cars, they are going to have some significant downforce reduction, especially going around turn 3. Akos losing that time may have ended up finding the time as a result of that. He's now 8/10 behind on Piccolo, so he will have the DRS as it stands going out of turn 7-8. We'll have to see as he comes through turn 8 now. And again, up on that sausage curve is not going to help him, but he will have DRS, but only just as he heads around that right-hander uphill. DRS open and overtake being used beyond belief to try and gain that time back. But as you'll see here, lock up on that front left. He's only going to lose that time as he goes around the corner, and around this corner, the time slowly but surely falling. But at the moment, I suspect he's going to end up being out of DRS as he comes around this set of corners. Keeps it nice and tidy. Later on the brakes, well, fair enough, he's holding on to his own at the moment. A bit of a mistake going through that corner, but he will have DRS again.
Yep, he will just about hanging on in there as he's just looking for the back rev Caterpillar down at the P10. I'm not too sure what's happened there, a bit of a lag. It looked like it, but there we go, he's lost a few positions, but yeah, it looks like some difficulties on the end of that Rev Caterpillar end, and the Rev Caterpillar fan club definitely won't be happy with that.
Yeah, down to 10th place at the moment and also leaving the session, so I don't know if there's some technical issues, maybe some hardware issues now happening to the Rev Caterpillar at the moment, as I'm sure the majority of the chat, including Crispy, are disappointed to hear the head of the Rev Caterpillar fan club will be disappointed to hear that he is now going to be falling down the order as a result of a disconnection. That may be hardware issues, I suspect. If not hardware issues, certainly some software issues as he rejoins into the session. So we'll keep an eye out on that one as we just follow the second place man Adam Dude. You rightfully point out though earlier on, actually bringing up a conversation that you said in qualifying, he's in second place and we're not entirely sure how he's managed to get there, because he's sort of his positions have not really emphasised a potential place to be in the top 2, as we've lost Levi. We have lost Levi in the 3rd sector, and the safety car has come out as a result of that one, and Akos will be thanking his lucky stars that this has happened. Into the pits he comes, surely for a set of hard tyres to the end of this race, as those who are on the hard tyre are surely going to have to commit to a 2-stop, if not go on to a set of medium tyres at the end of this race. That is a very long stint of 23 laps on a set of medium tyres. The race has suddenly opened up for the Hungarian hero. Hard tyres going on.
Yeah, it's a masterclass there from Akos. Maybe that's what he's planning the full time, but yeah, I'm intrigued to see so many people on the hards come into the pit lane as well for the mediums. I think, as you said there, it's probably going to be a 2-stop for the likes of Jam Pancake, Stonks, Venom, and a few other guys as well onto the medium tyres. So, yeah, that's intriguing to see. But I think it's not the worst strategies, but you need to remember as well, safety cars are still going to come out. You know, that was one crash missing a safety car, so we're probably going to get a few more as well. So, yeah, intrigued to see that one play out there. ETA Quantum, he stays out at the moment. He's been doing a great job so far, though, this race, and he will just be happy to keep that race lead. And yeah, I wonder if he'll be regretting that decision. However, he still can pit this lap. He's not been behind safety car yet. They're still racing to the Delta. So yeah, maybe we'll see if people change their minds this lap and come into the pits.
Just having a very quick look in the chat. Actually, I'll take this opportunity for all the drivers to then obviously huddle up behind the safety car. Obviously, we've got the leader Crispy of the Rev Caterpillar fan club, who will be pretty happy to hear that Rev Caterpillar is back in the session. But of course, under the safety car, he has an opportunity to just have a quick check to see what's causing those technical issues, as Carsey has now come in to get off of the hard tyres, but Quantum stays out. Adam Dude also staying out alongside Piccolo as well. But once again, having a quick look in the chat here to see what's going on. Alex Dago in the chat. Almost as good as a name as Jam Pancake's Clunky Monkey. Indeed, is down in 18th at the moment. Unfortunately for him, Jam Pancake's down in 13th place after making his first pit stop over to a set of medium tyres. As we've also got other people in the chat as well. In Wow Panduel Guedes is also saying the Anyway Go Mercedes. Obviously a big supporter of the Mercedes team. As Cruddy also saying stop waffling. You stop waffling, sir.
Yeah, fair enough there. So yeah, Carsey was the main one going into the pit lane there, but a few other people as well. Rev Caterpillar, Oscar, ESV Bobbers, and that is FRA Caesar all into the pit lane for medium company tyres. And there you have it, look at that, in the space of a lap. They've now got the majority of the grid on medium tyres. Now maybe the Quantum, the Adam, the Piccolos of the world, are they maybe regretting their decision now? They certainly could be, because they've got a hunting pack behind them all on some fresh mediums and fresh hard tyres if you are VSL Akos.
Lap 11 of 33. We're behind the Aston Martin safety car as a result of an incident involving PSR Levi. Looks like it's happened in the 3rd sector. And a load of debris actually dispersed on the circuit as a result of that one. So the drivers will have to keep it steady unless, of course, it has despawned off of the track. Opportunity knocks then, because we've got a bunch of drivers who have all elected to move over to a set of medium tyres. That would indicate to me they're now committing to a 2-stop, because 23 laps on a set of medium tyres is a bold call. Though Quantum, Adam Du, Piccolo, Chasta and Almond have all elected to stay on the same set of hard tyres that they have started on, so they still need to make their pit stop. Akos is the only driver on the field at the moment, unless you could correct me on this one, who theoretically could probably go to the end no problem at all. And he's going to be racing with a bunch of drivers who are all on a set of medium tyres here. It's going to be a very, very tricky part of the race here for Akos. What can he do to fend off the medium tyre runners, stay within the medium tyre runners in front of him, as well as then capitalise on those that are going to be making a second pit stop? That is going to be the intriguing question on regard strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's very important for Akos to just remember his race that he's running. You said that there, he probably will be going to the ends if there's no safety cars, and I think he needs to remember that. He needs to not get caught up in battles, not try and defend his place, because at the end of the day, the people behind him, he isn't really racing at the moment. They're still making another pit stop, so for his sake, save the ERS, save the tyres, and just try and stay within DRS if he can. Don't waste time fighting people, because at the end of the day, that's not his fight. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how he manages this, because this probably won't be an easy restart. He's going to have drivers all around him quicker than him. And yeah, it could be very easy for him to get caught up in fights and losing time. But yeah, I think if he can avoid doing that, I think he could still be on for a very positive result here tonight.
On the board with ETA Quantum then. as we're just heading around the second sector, clipping the curb ever so slightly and actually picking up a little bit of dust there. So the drivers will just be trying to keep their tyres nice and warm, which of course is going to be, let's be candid, a common feature of those on the hard tyre. They're going to be struggling a little bit with tyre warm-up at this part of the race. So the tyre temperatures out there and the track temperatures are suggesting we're in for a fairly warm day. We've currently got air temperatures at the moment to 26 degrees, so it is fairly decent out there at the moment. So plenty of opportunities for the drivers to keep their tyres warm. Safety car also in on this lap, so we're going to see Quantum now slow down the pack and just try to manage the field here as they now head across into the final set of corners. Quantum is going to want to try and get the jump if he can of Madame Do, in the hope that Piccolo and Chasta potentially put some pressure on, as we've lost Piccolo already. He's had a spin in that midsection as he now comes across the line, does Quantum, as we go green again here in Spain, and Quantum will lead the way from Adam Dude, who Adam Dude has not been pushed or caught napping in that one. Chasta's been caught napping ever so slightly, but I reckon he may have had to lift from that spin out from Piccolo, who's now all the way at the back of the field on those set of hard tyres. That might be his lap over and done with, as Cesar and Chelsea Fan, 5-second penalties each, ignoring yellow flags.
Yeah, just looking at P9 at the moment, Eferikai up into that P9 spot via Zarakos, losing one position already. Those hard tyres obviously just not up to it compared to those nice and fresh mediums. So yeah, as we expected, Akos losing out already.
Yeah, people coming in the chat as well. Crispy immediately in the chat saying those on the medium tyres absolutely are going to have to pit again because they will puncture. No arguments are against that one from me. He's going to be 22, 23 lap old medium tyres around here. Very, very risky strategy indeed from those that decide to make that call. So Akos may not choose to fight too hard against those on the medium tyre. They may recognise that they're going to be faster, as Almond has got himself into a little bit of a tiff at the moment with those on the medium tyres and going side by side with Venom at the moment. The hard tyre runner elects not to try and push too hard. He may actually make the call to come into the pits. Who knows? We'll have to see. He's going to just hug himself around the final corner here, and he elects not to pit on this particular occasion. He's going to stay within the close territory of Venom, but Jam Pancakes is breathing down his neck and wanted to make that move as early as he possibly can and make the best of those being on the medium tyres.
Yeah, interestingly, I've just seen in the chat, George Cullenworth says that mediums can make it to the end, and this man is in the party with Jam Pancakes, just for some kind of reference. So maybe Jam Pancakes is possibly thinking this could go to the end. So that's maybe not as simple as we think. Maybe mediums can go to the end, or maybe it's just a huge bluff from him there and he's mugging us all off. So yeah, we'll never know, but certainly could be a possibility, and possibly keep an eye out on a few of these drivers possibly eking out these tyres to the end.
Interesting little statistic there, actually, stating that he's in a party at the moment with Jam Pancakes. So I'm going to call out and say he's lying, in the hope that people will think that Jam Pancakes is going to be doing the one stop here. I cannot see these medium tyres going so long into this race. If they do, fair play, and I will hold my hands up and say the driver absolutely made the best of that strategy at the moment, especially with those on the medium tyres at the moment on 9 to 10% already at the moment for Carsey, who's just breathing down the likes of Chasta at the moment. He's the leading medium tyre runner at the moment, is Carsey. He'll be wondering how he's actually got himself into this position at the moment as well, because if I remember so correctly as well, he was a little bit down the order with Carsey, 4th place in this situation, and he's now in a really, really dark horse position, you'd have to say, to take the victory tonight if the two-stop does indeed work. But Stonk's the championship leader, again, another behind another driver who was behind him earlier on in this session after the pit stop. Shazoo Venom making a slight mistake going up the curbs over at turn 2. So he'll lose a bunch of time behind Stonks, and of course in front of Almond, who is himself trying to battle at the moment with Jam Pancakes, as we've got Osku and Akos battling here, because of course the hard tyre runner struggling onto the grass and onto the gravel for Osku as he spins across the track, and he's relegated down to 18th place. Very, very precarious position for Akos there. He's trying to defend for his life here. Not ideally the position he wants to be in, let's be candid. He wants to try and minimise how much time he loses on these hard tyres, because he's going to be doing the one stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly looking at the chat again, Luke Humphreys, the man that we all know so well, says that Fern did 20 laps on mediums yesterday. So there you go, we maybe just don't know what we're talking about. And yeah, mediums look like they probably are going to be going to the end. So yeah, a big job for these guys, so it's not going to be easy. And yeah, it's a long, long road ahead for these guys that are doing the one stop on the medium tyres.
Fern might have been able to get 20 laps out of the mediums, but how quick were his laps towards the end is going to be the question that you have to ask here. And I'm absolutely certain this is not going to be the strategy people are going to want to be on. Bobbitt's, though, sets the fastest lap of the race so far, does the host of this session, behind Rev Caterpillar by just over a second, a second, as they go into turn one. Rev Caterpillar putting a bit of pressure on Kai, able to mount the curbs a lot easier actually compared to the other drivers, so obviously running a slightly higher, looks like a bit of a higher car in comparison to those around them at the moment, as obviously that little bit of a situation happening for Jam Pancakes, as he's still stuck behind Almond at the moment, who is able to just stick within close proximity of those racing in front of them, especially because Stonks and Chasta are in a little bit of a battle, as is Venom, who's going to go around the outside here. That's going to be a bold call. Switchback, I'm not sure how that happened, but he gets the switchback done and gets the move done at turn 8. Excellent move from Venom.
Yeah, it certainly was opportunistic there from Venom, but definitely made that one count. Just taking on the back there and managed to pounce when it counted. Jam Pancakes there very late on the brakes, coming into that left-hander there, so yeah, definitely on the limit for Jam Pancakes. He's still trying to look to get past these hard tyre runners. Remember, he's been stuck behind Expert Almond for a few laps, I should say now. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen this AlphaTauri get by the Alfa Romeo in this straight.
Yeah, it's going to be a bold call here if Almond decides to try and defend from this one here. You'd expect Jam Pancakes is going to get this one done. DRS open, ERS being used, and at the moment Almond is going to try and defend it with the ERS and with the DRS he's got available versus Chasta. It looks to me as if Pancakes can't get enough of a bit of a run here on Almond, but Almond's made a mistake going through turn 1, gone wide. That's going to harm him through turn 2, and of course it'll harm him through turn 3, but the dirty air effect is still a thing in this game, as I said, and Pancakes as a result has to lift and not get into too much of a scrap with Almond as a result. Almond in the end will stay in 7th. Pancakes may want to go for a dive, but elects not to. In this little battle that's happening, as well as Rev Caterpillar really started to put the pressure now onto Kai, as he now tries to battle himself up to P9, and of course Bobbitt will be looking to try and get some points on the board. He's down in 11th at the moment as they head through again through turn 9. Jam Pancakes at the moment still not able to get past Almond.
Yeah, and look, he's very close at the moment. Will he go for a lunge here? He looks for it, but maybe just not long enough. Call a bit of contact between the two of them. The Alfa Romeo slightly unsettled here. Referee Kai spun in the background as well. It's all kicking off there just from that one slight small mistake from Jam Pancakes, but in the end he does get that move done. Yeah,
you'd have to say though that Jam Pancakes actually kind of nudged Almond out of the way there to try and get the move done, and I was expecting there to be a dive, but not sure the Jam Pancakes fan club will be happy for me to hear that. I'm not particularly convinced that will get past the stewards very lightly. Either way, he's up to 6th place at the moment. There's a bunch of drivers all electing to make their first pit stop. Chasta is one of them. Of course, FRA Kai, a big spin out as a result. I think trying to avoid the collision, maybe have tried to get the power down a little bit earlier than he wanted to try and get past the pair of them, but in the end spinning out at the left-hander. We have a quick look here. George Cullingworth, who says in the chat that he got hit from behind, and I believe that will be in reference to what happened with Kai. If that is the case, that is bitterly disappointing stuff. And you said actually early on, Callum, Luke said Fern did 20 laps yesterday. Again, I just want to bring up that call. If the 20 laps happen, how much are the tyres going to be degraded as a result of that is going to be the question, especially on Carsey, Stonk and Venom's lips, because they are all, especially alongside Jam Pancakes as well, all within touching distance of potentially getting the race victory tonight if they do manage to make the one-stop work, especially with Akos still struggling and now outside of the DRS territory on typical for 10th.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting once it's the pace. I think it's going to be the issue as well. Even if they make it to the end, I think it's, as you say, it could be really interesting to see how much slower they are, because you're going to have these guys on super fresh mediums absolutely going for it. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting dynamic as we approach the end of this race. Just looking at the moment, P8 Expert Almond under a little bit of pressure there, and Rev Caterpillar smoothly up into P8 and possibly could be P7 here. Can they catch Bobber snapping? He think he does actually. Down the inside into turn 1. It's a bit of contact between the two of them, and you know what? It's a good goal there from Rev Caterpillar, but it just might not be just to be so far.
Just keeping a very firm eye on that. A little bit of racing happening there at the moment as Bobbers is actually struggling with DRS at the moment, I believe. Taking a look at my screen, there it is, yep. So he's down to around about 15% ERS going through that corner, which is obviously only going to harm him down the straight. And he's pulling a little bit of a train between him with Rev Caterpillar, Ullman, Typical, Akos, Clunky Monkey, and Cesar down in 13th place at the moment. Cesar, of course, having that 5-second penalty alongside Chelsea fan for ignoring yellow flags, and I believe that will be just after the safety car came in. Of course, they can't make any overtakes until they pass the start finishing line, and that may be as a result of that situation. That will be the reason why. And that's expert Ullman making a little bit of an unexpert mistake there, actually going very late on the brakes, I think, trying to avoid maybe an attack from Typical, but Typical is just applying all sorts of pressure at the moment on the Alfa Romeo, and surely the Alfa Romeo is coming in at the end of this lap to get off of these hard tyres. Quantum, the front runner at the moment, is electing to make that call. The Alfa Romeo is staying out one more lap, as Adam Dude is also electing to stay out at the moment, and 88 Quantum will come in for a set of medium tyres to the end of this race. No doubt they'll get to the end, absolutely no problem at all. All about whether these medium tyre runners will elect to make the 2-stop, or are they going to make the 1-stop work.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting call. It's going to be the topic of this race as we are on now lap 20 out of 33, 13 laps to go, and these laps will now fly in. I'm surprised I've not seen many hard runners pit yet. We've got Adam Dude still out, and we've still got a few. Obviously, we've got Quantum on the mediums now. It'll be good to see what he can try and do. Oscar, unfortunately, has spun in the first sector. If his race wasn't going so well now, it's certainly going worse now, down into P18 now.
Just keeping a firm eye on what's happening at the moment in that midfield, as the gap's now starting to open up. The championship leader, on the other hand, still putting pressure on Carsey at the moment for second place. Adam Dude just within their sights at the moment. So, of course, now he still needs to make his pit stop, does Adam Dude here. And, of course, the Adam Dude is in second place at the moment in the championship, yet to get his first victory in this season, despite being in second place at the moment, but plenty of drivers behind him all getting their first victories so far. Adam Dude, no doubt, is surely going to be coming in very soon. It won't be this lap anyway, but Carsey is taking the DRS here of the Alpha Tauri, and will probably want to try and make some inroads here and make the move on Adam Dude. But despite not making a pit stop, Adam Dude does have the right to defend the position if he chooses to do so, being the driver in front. And at the moment, you'll see through turn 3, actually the hard tyres don't seem to be too bad at the moment, as Carsey's struggling with a little bit of understeer.
Yeah, Adam Dude's pace is looking very good at the moment, and considering the degradation on that tyre, how long have you done those hards? It's actually pretty impressive to see, and then yeah, he's well within his right, as you mentioned, to defend this position. At the end of the day, this could definitely be something that he'll benefit from later on in the race, but I think Adam Dude's got a long road ahead of him. If you just we've got to look at the gap to lead it. If he comes into the pit lane now, he comes out in P16, so well off it. A lot of work to do, so yeah, if these guys in the mediums can go to the end, it could be a pretty poor afternoon for the likes of Adam Dude and Quantum.
The race leader, who's just pitted in Quantum, has got a 19-second gap to Adam Dude at the moment, but he has at least 6 seconds to Kai, so he's got plenty of clean air to make some inroads here. And Adam Dude is trying to commit to the overcut, that probably won't work on this particular occasion. But he's going to have a bunch of drivers who are all trying to get to the end of this race. Adam Dude now coming into the pit lane, actually coming to the wrong side of the bollard on that occasion. So I think if anyone decides to send that one to the steward, he might be in a bit of trouble here. But he comes into the pit lane. Carsey now leads this race, but he's going to be taking the medium tyres a long way to the end of this race if he wants to try and take the victory here tonight. Championship leader Stonks in second with Venom in third. Jam Pancakes, St. George Sports driver up to fourth place, with Kai now setting the fastest lap of this race so far, even after that spin out with 11 lap old medium tyres. He sets that 119.5, sorry, which is immediately beaten by Quantum with his own 119.5 as well.
Yes, fastest laps all coming in now. The fresh mediums certainly looking like the quick tyre, but it's just how quick, isn't it? It needs to be really on it if they want any sort of chance of getting a good result. So the lap time there from Quantum was what, a 1:19.5. I'll just compare that to our race leader of Carsey, who set a 1:20.1.
Oh, he's in the wall! Championship leader has crashed out at turn 7. He's put the power down too early. He's brought out the safety car. And the championship leader putting the power down far too early. He's completely destroyed the front end of that Aston Martin. And it was an uncharacteristic mistake. And he's out of this race, and now opportunity knocks for those who pitted under the first safety car. Carsey, Venom, Jam Pancakes, Bobberts and Rev Caterpillar are going to be so happy with the situation, as will Almond actually, leaving out so late. He's in such a cracking position here, and Adam Dude and Quantum are going to be kicking themselves that they made the call to come in so early, well, so late you'd have to say really, and they've missed out on this second safety car. They are going to be massively disappointed. Carsey, Venom and Bobberts are going to be wondering how this has happened to them. Bobberts is elected to stay out.
Wow, this is huge for the race FRA Stonks. What a shame though. The driver in the league of the championship. It's just a mistake you can't afford to make that often, and yeah, it's a tough one for him. He's done a good race as well, on for good points, but there you have it. It's a rookie error and definitely a big price to pay. Looking then, Carsey came into the pit lane, he's in softs, he's in P5. Wow, he can be a serious stretch. Zoo Venom as well on P6 on the softs. Jam Pancakes in P9 in the softs, and a few others further back also on the soft compound tyres. ESV Roberts is now your race leader on some old medium tyres. With 9 laps left to go, this is going to be very interesting.
The thing is, Cesar and Chelsea fan have all elected to stay out as well, so he has got a little bit of a cushion to Carsey and Venom on those fresh soft tyres. Quantum on the fresh set of mediums with Adam Dude as well in 7th and 8th place respectively. You know, in fairness to Stonks, he can afford this DNF at the moment because whatever happens, he will still be the championship leader at the end of this race. If Adam Dude somehow manages to take the victory tonight and get the fastest lap, the gap will be 1 point between him and Stonks in favour of the championship leader as it stands so far. So it is still all to play for as Clunky Monkey gets an embarrassing 3-second penalty under the safety car. Stonks ideally didn't want this, but it's not the worst case scenario here for Stonks. But with so many drivers on completely different strategies, including Akos, who's refused to pit and staying out on these hard tyres, which is ideally, again, not the place he wants to be in here, he's going to have to try and really fend off some very, very fast soft tyre runners. He could probably fend off Cesar and Chelsea and possibly even put an attack on Bobberts with those medium tyres coming towards the end of their life. The soft tyre runners of Carsey and Ven are going to be so quick though, but those tyres are going to be dead at the end of this stint. This is going to be one mighty race.
Yeah, it's interesting to see these soft tyres. How many people have opted for it? We've seen Akos at the start of this race. The pace wasn't amazing. Obviously, it was much better in comparison to the hard tyres, but he wasn't setting the world alight. They didn't last that long either. You know, this is going to be what, 9 laps a race. Probably about 8 laps a race, you would think. So the softs aren't going to be good coming into this race either. So it's going to be really intriguing to see. There's so many different strategies going here, so many different variables in this race, and yeah, I can't wait until we get going.
All 59 of you tuning in, thank you very much for being alongside us for this event. This is the Spanish Grand Prix in WOR Tier 2. If you are just tuning in, where have you been? It's been one hell of a race, to say the least. These drivers are going to be going around the circuit on a complete mixture of strategies. Behind the safety car for what is essentially going to be, I believe, a 7 or 8 lap sprint to the end. Those that have elected to go onto the soft tyres now are absolutely going to be rapid at the beginning of this sprint, but towards the end, they are going to be in a real spot of bother. Those that are still on the medium tyres may be okay. Those that are on the medium tyres that they pitted under the first safety car might be in some trouble. And Akos certainly is going to be able to get to the end of this race no problem now. These hard tyres are going to be absolutely fine. 35% is what I'm seeing at the moment. As the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap, and it will be an 8-lap sprint to the end. And it will be Bobbers that will lead the way from the front on an old set of medium tyres that may be a little bit difficult to warm up. We'll have to see. Carsey and Venom in 5th and 6th place. It's all going to be about how they're going to manage their race so far now. Are they going to push now and try and get as much of a gap as they can to the rest of the field, or are they going to manage their soft stint? Jam Pancakes typical and Clunky Monkey also in the mix as well, and don't of course discredit those from 12th down to last place at the moment, all on a fresh set of tyres for themselves. So Bobberts coming around that final corner. He has the choice of when he wants to go. He's coming around the final corner, leaving it a little bit later than the last particular occasion, but he is going to go, and he's not caught Akos napping. We go green again here in Spain, and Bobberts is now leading the way, but here comes Cesar under a little bit of pressure here from Chelsea, but Chelsea electing not to go for it on this particular occasion as he gets later on the brakes, but again, not putting too much pressure on the Aston Martin, as they of course have that 5-second penalty hanging over their head after getting that yellow flag penalty under the first safety car. Rev Caterpillar and Piccolo under a bit of a battle. Piccolo losing a couple of positions actually with Kai involved in that one as well. The AlphaTauri of Adam Dude trying to put pressure under ETA Quantum. Of course, they have lost out big time under the second safety car after making a late call to come in to the pits later than anticipated, but in the end wasn't going to work. And here comes the soft tyre runner Jam Pancakes also trying to put some pressure on as the FRA car gets a 3-second time penalty. Fish Troubles in 14th place at the moment as excuse me, Carsey, a Chelsea fan getting into a spot to bother here, and here comes Venom down the inside line going through into turn 9 as Akos gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. Everyone getting some time penalties out of the neck. Here comes Venom, so late on the brakes, and what a move from the Mercedes to get that one done. And Carsey trying to battle here with Chelsea fan, and he can't get that one on those old medium tyres. He's under some trouble here. Quantum trying to battle hard now with Adam Dude, but he's going to want to try and get past Chelsea fan as early as he can in the hope that he puts a cushion between him and Adam Dude.
Yeah, great stuff there from Shazoo Venom, and look at he's going for it again over the back of FRA Caesar. Coming out at the final corner, they go, and this should be a pretty simple move, but they've got Carsey working in the background as well. Here comes Shazoo Venom. Let's just keep an eye on Carsey as well, though. Coming into turn 1, it's not a dead set move for Venom. A bit of work has to be done on the brakes. Pretty simple move. Carsey as well, though. He's locked on the background, and I think we could see a move from this Alfa Romeo anytime soon.
Yes, he's all struggling at the moment with these medium tyres. At the moment, they are just not helping here, so it's all about damage limitation now for the next 6 to 7 laps, and it's all going to be about how these soft tyres are going to perform as well. Venom is flying high here. Carsey is trying to put pressure on the Aston Martin. He's going to have to go around the outside line. What a move if this sticks, as he keeps on and still puts pressure, and he's got the traction coming around here. Surely the Aston Martin is going to have to yield, but he's got the car in front here. He's going to keep it nice and tidy down the inside line. They're still side by side going through into turn 9 as he's going to have the inside line. Surely the Aston Martin is going to have to yield. They're still side by side as they head through into turn 10 as they're going to keep it nice and tidy, and surely Cesar's going to give up on this particular occasion. He certainly does. Carsey up to 4.
Yep, it's an A for effort from Caesar there, but just not to be in then. Those soft tyres just a little bit so good. Just looking up front as well, Shazoo Venom, the pace is really there, 9/10 of a second now to the gap TSD Bobbers, and those soft tyres definitely looking like the favoured tyres at the moment.
You wouldn't believe that he actually made a mistake there, did Venom. He got up on the curb and beached it on the curb, and as a result of that one, he actually lost a bit of time to Bobberts, but still gets the fastest lap. The soft tyres are absolutely working a treat, but they are going to fall off the cliff very quickly if they keep pushing too hard. So Bobberts still has an outside chance of winning this, but it's all about whether he can manage those now old set of medium tyres. So it is all about tyre management for a lot of drivers, maybe even including Akos here, who's on a set of hard tyres that have not got the pace and really haven't had the pace all the way through this race. And he was hoping he'd be able to make some big inroads on these hard tyres, but the second pit stop has absolutely put that one to bed. And it's all about damage limitation, but he's got a 3-second penalty to his name, which could see him fall all the way far down as 6th, assuming this race continues to be so close in close proximity. While this is all happening, by the way, Quantum has tried to make some big inroads on these medium tyres, so much so that him and Adam Dude have clearly either had some kind of collision or Adam Dude has made a mistake on his own, because he's down to 16th place is the second place man, and that is his race potentially over and done with, as Quantum maybe wants to get close to Cesar. Cesar on 16 lap old medium tyres that are going to be very risky to get to the end of this race, though with that second safety car it certainly helped him out. Quantum is still putting some serious pressure on that Aston Martin. Surely the move is going to be done into one though.
Yeah, it definitely will be. He's really all over the back of him. There's a big mistake there from Bobbers. Oh, and he spun out of the race. Oh, what a shame, what a strategy it could have been. But a very, very costly mistake there from the McLaren has virtually gifted the race lead to Shazoo Venom.
Yeah, those medium tyres are falling off the cliff now. 65% is the worst worn tyre on Bobberts' car, and he still has another 5 laps to do. Here's Chelsea fan getting into a bit of a scrap at the moment with Jam Pancakes. Pancakes makes the move done, no problem at all. 6th place for him as he now tries to push and tries to put Quantum under some pressure here as Carsey and Venom's made a mistake himself on a fresh set of soft tyres. Are they now starting to overheat? And if that's the case, Akos now leads the race on an old set of hard tyres, and he's going to bunch the entire pack right close together on an old set of hard tyres if he tries to defend this one here. This is going to be one hell of a race as these drivers all get in close proximity. Carsey is now the favourite to win this.
Yeah, unbelievable how much can change the lap. It is just crazy. Carsey landing off track there, possibly could be an invalidated lap time, but yeah, if you can see it, of course he's just going to bunch everyone up. The pace will not be there in those hard tyres, and Carsey, he'll be desperate to try and get past. As soon as he can get past, the better for that Alfa Romeo. And you can just see here through this final sector, he is absolutely hounding this Mercedes to get past.
Carsey is, as far as I'm concerned, I can't see him on the table. So this is a scenario here, unless he's on a different game tag at the beginning of this season, as Jam Pancakes is in a real spot to bother because he's got into a bit of a spin as well. He's down to 11th place now as a result of that one. Venom is trying to put pressure on, but look at the ERS. He's down to 4, 3, 2, and 1. And he is now going to be derating here because Carsey's going to try and make the move around the outside line into turn 1 versus the hard tyre runner of Akos, who makes a mistake. And here comes the inside line Venom. It's a soft on soft run now as Quantum is trying to make the move on Akos here. Akos could be relegated off the podium just by sheer racing here as he goes down the inside line. And he's going to try and hold on. Akos is going to leave as minimal space as he can, but just enough to keep it legal. But Quantum is now in front of Akos, but Akos is going to have the inside line going into the next corner as they're going to go side by side, potentially heading into turn 7, turn 8. This is really good racing between the two Mercedes-powered cars as it goes around the outside line. Quantum makes the move and should get it done, and Akos is relegated to 4.
Oh, it's a shame for Akos there, but definitely giving it his all, but just not to be on those hard compounded tyres. Carsey, on the other hand, up to P1. It's looking good for him, isn't it? That ERS not looking good on the counterpart of Shizou Venom, just 10% to his name. So Carsey, he is in the driving seat for this race win.
It's all about now whether those soft tyres are going to last here. On the last check, there was 34% wear on the worst affected tyre for Carsey, which is only going to affect his overall race performance over the next 4 laps. Of course, he's going to be under pressure from Shizou Venom, who will keep applying the pressure as much as he can. And of course, Quantum is on 10-lap old medium tyres that are going to be feeling very nice at this point in this race here, as Cesar has losing positions left, right and centre. Venom is going to get into the wing mirrors of Carsey, but elects not to make the move on this particular occasion. Quantum, by the way, is the person with the most amount of ERS out of the 3 drivers at the front at the moment, so it is opportunity knocks for Quantum to try and reclaim the victory that he has been fighting for all this time. While this is all happening, by the way, Rev Caterpillar has spun well down the field, 31 seconds behind.
Yeah, tough one for Rev Caterpillar. They're just looking for the back. That is Oscar up into P13 on those soft compounded tyres. Just trying to see these guys in the softs. They've not made great arm roads, have they? Jam Pancakes followed quite far back after that mistake. Clunky Monkey, on the other hand, he's doing really well in P7. He's hung on to that position greatly at the moment. Just looking at P4 at the moment, FRA can't get all over the back. And then Mercedes of BSR Akos now. Akos down into P4 on the last few laps. It could be P5 now. Kai, he's setting it up the engine. It's great respect from Akos, giving him the room on the outside. But Kai, that was ambitious, and he might just pay the rewards now. Round the outside, he goes into that right-hander, and up into P4 goes the Haas.
What a tumultuous race it has been for FRA Kai. Spinning out, starting at the back, did not qualify, and then ends up in P4. Of course, after time penalties, he may fall down as expert Alman is behind all of this. He may end up gaining a bucket load of positions and finishing 4th place, actually. Could the Alfa Romeo. What a race it has been for Alfa Romeo as well, actually. Carsey leading the way. Venom trying to get close. Quantum is biding his time and trying to save up the ERS with 2 laps to go. He's hoping that these soft tyres do fall off the cliff. On the last call, I'm just keeping an eye on Venom as my graphics try and update here, as they've still got question marks all over the screen here. They are, and the area is 44% at the moment on the case of Shizou Venom. So he is now really starting to wear thin these tyres here as they now lap Rev Caterpillar, who's deciding to go and mow some grass out there at the moment in Spain.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Rev, but yeah, hero is hero. It might a few weeks for the Alpine, but nothing that we're not used to here in Tier 2. Just looking up front at the moment, Rev Caterpillar with another penalty, but looking up front, Venom, he is all over the back of Carsey now. That ERS is a bit more of a level playing field, and definitely could be looking to make a move. At that cost on this is Quantum as well. He's quietly just sitting back on those medium compounded tyres, and that possibly in the last few laps these mediums could start to come back to him a little bit, and we could possibly see a late charge for this race win from that McLaren.
Controversial stuff happening in the chat at the moment as Rev Caterpillar has now fully retired from the session. We're not expecting anything more than maybe a virtual safety car. We'll have to see. In that, by the way, what is happening as Crispy just pops into the chat, let's go Rev, as he just retires immediately on that one. So great call there. People saying in the chat, by the way, it looks like we've got issues with Alex Degu, who's saying it sounds like Clunky Monkey has got himself into a little bit of a tiff, as Jam Pancakes, to make it even worse, has spun out and now rage quit from this session, which is bitterly disappointing stuff to say the least. Clunky Monkeys have just got back on board with him, by the way, as we start the penultimate lap of this race, up to 6th place. But apparently, to quote the words from Alex Degu, George Cullingworth actually, like pretty much straight lined him. Sounds like there may have been some serious negotiations with the stewards after this race involving Clunky Monkey and Jam Pancakes.
Yeah, tough stuff there from Clunky Monkey. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, unfortunately. We did miss that one on this stream. Just looking up front at the moment, there's still not too much action happening as much as the last lap. I was talking about how close they are. Coming on to the last lap now, it is now or never for Shazoo Venom. But it just doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. He's not really been a real threat in the last few laps, and then he needs a seriously good last sector here if he wants to challenge for this race win.
What an excellent lap from Quantum. He's been putting the pressure here on Venom now, as their tyres are surely going to be now breaching into the 50% wear now. Soft tyres were absolutely going to be able to go to the end. It's whether they're going to be fast enough to be able to hold off an attack from those on the medium tyres, and certainly Quantum is going to be putting the pressure. DRS open, overtake available. Carsey has been holding on here and been holding on quite well, and he's been trying to hold on from the attack here from Venom. Both drivers now out of ERS here, so no pressure going to be on going into turn 1 here. Quantum is too far back and has actually made a mistake going into turn 1. He's gone too deep, and now he's putting himself under some serious pressure. We've got drivers really scrapping out towards the back here in the midfield, as Almond, who was in a serious potentially contention for 4th place, has spun out, and now he's all the way down in 13th, and the driver that's going to be earning big points is going to be ESV Bobbers, even with the 22-lap-old medium tyres. If he can hold on, he's going to be earning some big points off of those that have got the penalties under their name here, as we are on the final lap of this race. While this is all happening, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and those who don't identify, it's going to be a really contentious sort of situation here, as Quantum is trying to put the pressure on the medium tyre, on the soft tyre runners in front, but in the end the soft tyre runners are going to be able to just hold on as they now enter into the 3rd sector. It is unlikely that Quantum is going to fire any pressure here, and of course under the back of the championship leader crashing out, bringing out the 2nd safety car, and out of nowhere, and to my knowledge he's not even on the table, Carsey is going to come across the line to take victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. And with Kai coming across the line in 4th place with time penalties applied, Bobberts may come across the line to earn big points, and 6th place in the end for the McLaren, and Kai will end up holding on what has been a very tricky race indeed for the Haas. For 4th place, Akos will finish in 5th with a really good race in the end from the Hungarian hero, from all the way down in 15th place. Of course, Jam Pancakes is out of this session, as Osku is just, I believe, trying to hold on, and with 10-lap-old soft tyres, those soft tyres are not looking healthy, and the front wing is not looking healthy. He doesn't have one.
Yes, it doesn't look good for that front wing, but just quickly want to mention the standings will be looking pretty interesting after this race. So in our top 4 we have Stonks, who retired, we also have Adam who finished 10th, and then we've got Levi in P3 who retired, and then you've got Akos in P5. So kind of after all this, I think Akos is your main winner in this main championship battle. 10 points to his name, 10 points to the better good of the people around him. So yeah, a poor night for Stonks and Levi for their championship hopes. But yeah, certainly interesting one for Akos, so as much as it was a pretty tough end for the race for him, he still picked up a very healthy 10 points.
Akos absolutely up to 3rd place now as a result of that one, with of course Levi DNFing from this race. He'll be on 72, Akos will be on 74. Adam Dude obviously down in 10th, he'll be up to 79, so really close stuff there. And of course Stonks not scoring anything here. It's all about what the midfielders are going to be earning here. Quantum going to be earning some big points, up from 38 points. He'll be earning points off of Rev Caterpillar. Piccolo, Bobbert's obviously earning some big points. F4I getting driving the day up from 16 positions in the end to finish in a very good 4th place. We'll take a look then at the podium ceremony, as we hopefully will be able to have a very quick word with the drivers on this podium ceremony. We'll try and get them into the party and have a very quick conversation with them. Let's have a quick look then at this podium ceremony, hopefully, as we see there in 1st place, Carsey, out of nowhere, taking what is going to be a fabulous race victory here tonight. 25 points falling in his name for Alfa Romeo, and the Mercedes, of course, of a very rampant Venom, taking some big points. 17th place down in the order, and taking 18 points will bring it up to 38, in tie with Quantum himself, actually, who is in 3rd. So we'll take a look then at those final results, as hopefully again we'll keep trying to invite those drivers on the podium ceremony. Hopefully Callum is also spamming him as well alongside myself. Carsey in the end though taking a very solid race victory here tonight, as the driver in the Alfa Romeo taking a fabulous win, with Shazoo Venom taking the fastest lap, and 2nd place with Quantum finishing in 3rd. Kai at the back of the grid after spinning out, finishing in 4th place, will be so happy with that result, with Akos in 5th. Bobbers in 6th place was Chasta in 7th, and Clunky Monkey in 8th place, but of course controversy surrounding him and Jam Pancakes may end up seeing him fall down the order with Typical in 9th and Adam Dude rounding out the top 10. And then 11th place in the end, Alman finishing in what is a very disappointing 11th. He could have ended up earning some big points versus those with penalties. In the end, himself finishing in only outside of the positions that gets points. Cesar in 12th, with Piccolo in 13th, Chelsea Fan in 14th, and those DNFing Jam Pancakes, Oscar, Rev Caterpillar, Stonks, Levi, and Winter, rounding out the 20 drivers that race tonight. A very, very interesting event here, so we'll obviously now head, hopefully, fingers crossed, to the questions as we are awaiting, hopefully, invites being sent out to those that are hopefully going to be joining the party. That gives us a very brief moment to very quickly discuss what has been a very, very interesting race event. In the end, Cal, those mixture in race strategies, those drivers all electing to decide what they want to do, in the end falling in the favour of those that elected to pit under the safety car for soft tyres at the end. What a race indeed.
Yeah, it certainly was, and so I wasn't too hopeful going into tonight, but it certainly did deliver. It's a little bit of Russian roulette near the end of the race. You don't really know what to do. Safety cars can be unpredictable, but the guys that got it right really have benefited from it, and a lot of people throwing away some good points tonight. Stonks are the main ones. The Stonk is the main one I am looking at there, but yeah, a night of ups and downs, but yeah, for Spain, for once, certainly delivered a pretty good race tonight.
Absolutely. Hopefully, again, we'll keep trying to invite the drivers from that session into this one, Cal. Hopefully you are getting on that one, because unfortunately for some reason no longer can, which is very weird. So we'll very, very, very briefly discuss about what's happened then in the end. So in the championship standings, obviously the championship leader has DNF from this session, but it is not by far the worst case scenario for him, because a lot of the drivers around him in the championship also had a very poor race. In the end, Levi had the pace, but the consistency was all over the place for the Ferrari, and he ends up losing points potentially. As well, he's potentially going to end up losing the position versus Akos.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And I think Stonks, as much as he will still be your championship leader this time next week, that advantage is gone. All that hard work he's put in is gone just from one mistake. That's it, it's gone. So yeah, it's a big one tonight, because that's a lot of points he could have threw away. We don't know where he'd finished. It was a long race to go, but yeah, it's a tough one for him. And I think looking at Tier 2 the last few seasons I've commentated this tier, every point matters. And I think if you want to be a championship contender, if you want to win the championship, you cannot afford to crash out of races like that.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very impeccable performance from those drivers if they want to continue on with what has been an absolutely fabulous sort of season so far. Of course, now we've finished with the Spanish Grand Prix, we now move on in, I believe, in a week's time to Abu Dhabi, where we're going to be racing under sprint race conditions as well. So obviously it's the new layout heading into Abu Dhabi. These drivers have potentially going to be racing at Abu Dhabi for the first time in a competitive environment as well. Especially in a sprint racing scenario, these drivers are going to have to put up with some seriously contentious racing, with how tightly contested this tier is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Abu Dhabi, actually. It's normally something you see right at the end of a season. This is still pretty much in the middle. So yeah, good. Definitely looking forward to it. It's a good track. The sprint race as well, that will be chaos, just like always. Abu Dhabi as well as a track itself in this game, the new layout. Very easy to get penalties, very easy to get caught on curbs, make mistakes. And yeah, just like always, I think next week should bring us some pretty good action.
It's been absolutely fabulous indeed. Of course, we're going to be in Abu Dhabi for the final sprint race of the season before we move on to another 5 weeks of racing where we'll finish at Saudi Arabia. But that will be it. It looks like we're not going to have any drivers in here. I believe they're going to be all in negotiations in the Discord after what has been a very, very aggressive, shall we say, Spanish Grand Prix. We move on to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next week. Hopefully you can tune in. Being myself and Cal in Tier 2. From myself and the rest of the team here in WOR, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.